All right, so I'm inside Aweber right now, and we're going to go to sign up forms. And we're going to create a sign up form, this big green button right here. And then I like to use just the plain. And in the header area, I'm just going to take this picture here. And I'm going to open that in a new tab. Because what that will do is it'll give me the exact address of it. So I'm just going to click. Actually, I'm going to move this down so you can see that all I did is open this up in a new window by right-clicking and saying open up in a new tab or window. And then I went over to the tab, and then I'm just going to select everything in the address bar, and I'm going to copy it. And then I'm going to close that tab off because I usually wind up with a billion tabs open. So we're going to go over here to edit header. And that's not actually where I want to be. Oops, I just removed the header. So everybody makes mistakes, right? So we're going to add in a header. At least I hope we are. Isn't that funny? Here we go. That's where you add in a header. So we're going to save, and it put it back. So if you delete it, there it is up top. Good to know that stuff, huh? So now we're going to hit advanced. And I'm going to put in that address that I just copied. And then you're going to see what it looks like. See, you can only see part of it. So we have to make this bigger. And in order to do that, I've only found a cheater way to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make, see how this has an arrow and then the top and an arrow and the bottom? That's really the padding at the top and the bottom. So right now it's set at 9. I'm going to set it to 130, and it automatically makes it even on both sides. So it's 130 up and 130 down for a total of 260. And that makes the picture fit. Obviously I've done this before and I knew what numbers to plug in there, but you just plug them in until you get something that makes it work. Now it's aligned over to the left and I don't really like that. So I'm going to align it in the center. Okay, and then see how this is really light? That gray is really hard to see. I'm just going to change the color there, which isn't in there. Again, you know, everybody makes mistakes. Here's that light gray color on the labels. So we're just going to make that into a green because that'll look good with Marie's site. So the outside of the box, that's still gray. We could make that green too. So the way that we do that is we change the inputs. See how that's set to gray? So we do the same thing, come over here and make that green. Thought that would change the box color, but it didn't. So I'm just going to forget about that because it's not really that important. The next thing I'm going to change is the button because I don't like that big gray submit button. So in order to change the button, we need to click on the advanced and remove the picture. Once we remove the picture, it'll be a color button. We're going to make that button green instead of blue. So we'll make it a lighter green. There we go. And we're going to take this email marketing by Aweber out of there. We're going to remove the footer, make it a little bit taller. And then that looks pretty good. I don't think there's anything else we need to do, so let's click on Save Form. Then we're going to go on to the next page. Go to step 2. We're going to call this pop-up. We're going to leave the thank you page on the basic version. We're going to leave the already subscribed page on the basic version. And we're going to go to step 3. We're going to save the form. Thought I already did that. Aweber always surprises me with that. You have to save. Thought I did that. So then I'm going to click on I will install my own form. And I want the JavaScript version. And I'm just going to copy that. Then I'm going to go over to my search. And I'm going to search for 12 free skills. We're going to open the file location. And I'm just going to open this HTML file with Notepad. Okay, and I'm going to bring it into here so that you can see what I'm doing. I'm going to make it a little wider. Now this particular HTML file was made for the 12 free skills pop-up. So I'm going to change this to 7-day mental diet. And basically, this is a very basic HTML file. You have to have these top things. You have to have what's between the head, and then you have to start with body. And then there's not a lot else that you have to have. You have to end with body. So I'm going to take everything between body and body, and I'm going to copy in that JavaScript that I just had there. And then I'm going to save this. Now, since I haven't done this before, we're going to see how it works now. We're going to go over to Marie's Celtic Star Living, and we're going to sign in to her WordPress. Well, I'm glad it worked the second time. I don't know what happened that first time, but I was a little nervous. All right, so under plugins, we should have the Optinpop installed. So we're going to activate it. And then we're going to go to it, the Optinpop settings. Makes you register, but it never sends an email, so I'm not really sure why it does that. And then the URL of the page to show is going to be Celtic Star Living. You have to put in the HTTP / Celtic Star Living 7-day mental diet .html. I'm just copying this over because I actually didn't change the name of it. So you'll see I have this saved as 7-Day Mental Diet here in Marie's file. Now what I'm going to do is a little bit advanced. Not that all of this isn't a little bit advanced. If you can do this, you can do anything. So this here, I'm going to shrink it a little bit so you can see it in the recording window. This is Core FTP, and it's the light version. It's the free version. So we're going to go to Site Manager, and I'm going to open up, I'm going to go to Celtic Star Living, which is right here. It'll connect to it. So once I'm connected to it, I'm going to go into Marie's file here. I'm going to go into public HTML here, and I'm just going to make this file upload. So that's done. It's not on my, well, it is on my computer, but it's also online. So we're going to say it's 300 by 500. We're going to have it show all the time, and we're going to update the options. And then I'm going to take a look at the site in a new tab. Isn't that funny? Just making sure everything is right. We're going to update the option again. And we're going to get it to load. So there it is. So right now I have it set to be 300 by 500. And if you can kind of see here, that's cutting off the submit button. So we need to fool around with those numbers some. We're going to make it 300 by 600. Update the options. And then I'm going to refresh this page. So there we have it. It's a little bit tall. And you know, it's kind of got too much space on the sides too. I'm going to go over to Aweber and just give it another tweak. Go into Sign Up Forms and click on this pop-up and click on Edit. And just in the body, under Advanced, it's got padding on the sides set to be 60. I'm going to make that 30. So it won't have quite as much padding on the sides. And what that did, you see how these look a little bit wider? I'm going to save that. And that should just happen here. Yeah, see how those are just a little bit wider? This is on one line instead of two. It's still just a little tall, but we'll see how Marie likes this. I think it's pretty good because it does fit on the page. So we're going to close that off. Now don't forget to go back in here and set this so it only comes up once every 1 day. So once somebody closes that, if they go look at other pages on your site, it won't keep popping up for them. So I'm going to update the options. And that's it. We just installed the Aweber form on a site. Oh, you know what? I'm going to check one more thing. I'm going to turn this back on to be on all the time so I can check something out. If I subscribe, if I use this form, I want to make sure it goes to a thank you page. So I'll put in my name, and I'll put in my email address. I'm going to submit that. It's wonderful. Aweber has its own thank you pages that kind of form to the size that you have. I used to have to make my own, but I like that Aweber does that, so that's great. So everything works wonderfully. If I were to look, I would see that I'm now on Marie's list. So actually I have to confirm that. That's a double opt-in list, so I would go to that email and confirm it. But that's great. All right.